I don't want it to be like this.
You've actually acquired this debt in the last 2 years.
Yes. We went from being active to now all we do is sit on the sofa.
If you're paying for flowers, but you can't afford to eat,
It feels like a prison. And it just seems like it's never gonna end.
Money, 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 money.
My name is Paul, and I'm 28 years old. I work for the city. I make $55,000 per year.
My name is Robyn. I'm 28 years old. I'm a high school science teacher. I make $51,000 a year.
At the beginning of our relationship, we were able to go out and do whatever we want, going out to concerts and shows.
We ate out a lot. Every weekend, $100, $120 dinners was nothing for us.
First, we bought the house together before we got engaged. Then the whole world changed.
We do spend a lot of our time on the couch. Sometimes we just sit here staring at each other like, okay, now what?
We started planning for a wedding for a year and a half. And then money was just going out left, right, and center.
$8,869.84. It was a beautiful day. Now we have to pay for it.
It's been 2 years now, almost 2 years since we've been in this house, and we haven't saved a single penny. We don't have any savings whatsoever, and that's the scariest part for me.
Everything is related to money.
We started using credit cards a lot to pay stuff.
And when it goes on credit, we have difficulty paying the credit card, so we pay it off with the credit line. We use debt to pay off debt. It's definitely taken a toll on our relationship.
It's just been a total strain on me and Robyn. That's the only thing we ever argue about.
I feel like he blames me for all the spending.
Sometimes I'll go for a run to clear my head, but then the whole time I'm running, I'm thinking about money. I don't want it to be like this. I don't want this to be the way life is.
It's a sense of hopelessness, that you're never going to get out of it. You're never going to be able to move on. You're never going to be able to afford the things you want.
When something keeps you up at night, and when you can't realize your dreams, even no matter how small they are.
You would think we'd be able to make ends meet. And it's not happening.
Show me the way and show me what to do to make things better for us here.
this month, I'll help this couple move from red to black. I've been solving money problems for over 20 years, tackling everything from high finance to low income. I help people understand money and debt, which is still a huge mystery for most folks. And it's the #1 reason couples split up. So now I'm making house calls. Robyn and Paul wonder what the future holds for them. Feeling crushed by debt, they're not having any fun together. If I don't step in, there won't be a happily ever after for this couple. Hi, Gail Oxley.
Nice to meet you. I'm Robyn.
Hi, I'm Paul.
If you don't mind, the first thing I'd like to do is just drop my bag and have a quick look around.
Certainly.
Okay.
Come on in.
How long have you been living here?
Almost 2 years now.
Noticed any changes in your lifestyle since you became homeowners?
Everything we make goes to the house.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
You have lots of food in your fridge.
I was hoping you wouldn't go into the fridge.
Nice kimono.
Thank you.
And you have little artifacts from all the places you've been. She really misses this. She loves to travel, and this house is like an anchor.
She's good.
Maybe the first cupboard I've ever opened that isn't packed with clothes. Again, it's not fancy. It's very comfy. So why don't you tell me why I'm here?
We're in trouble with the money.
Yeah, I saw the numbers.
Yeah.
How desperate are you feeling? I'm going to start with you, Robyn.
Overwhelmed, hopeless.
How long do you think this will take to fix?
At least 5 years.
Paul?
Stressed like you wouldn't believe to my
Just
house.
trapped, eh?
Yeah, is this how it's supposed to be for the first 10 years of when you buy a house or the first 15 years of marriage?
You're not going to like some of the things I say, but I can fix this. I'm going to show you the numbers, because the numbers don't lie, and you can see what big dopes you've been. Yay! Here's the thing. The problem with this is you think you have more money than you do. That's why you keep getting to the end of the money, before you get to the end of the month because you don't even know how much money you have. When I posted your budget, your accounts say you're making $1,000 a month net less than you think you are. Okay? And then we come to screen number 2. If you think spending $4 on a subscription is no big deal, and you think spending $30 on entertainment is no big deal, and you think spending $51 on your pet is no big deal, you're right. Because each of those amounts are no big deal.
Once you add them up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, restaurant.
And again, when you add it all up and you find out that you're spending $1,200 a month on stuff, it's just bleeding away.
Yep.
Add in another almost $250 on cash, and you're up to almost $1,500 that you don't need to be spending.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Although we don't know what income is. We didn't know how much money we were making. We didn't know how much money we were spending. We thought we did. Gail showed us that we didn't.
And now we come to the debt. You have almost $32,000 worth of debt, which is no wonder that you're feeling desperate. You're not carrying a very high balance on your credit cards, although there are whopper interest rates. And here's the thing about a credit card, okay? If you leave so much as $1 on your credit card, everything you buy on that credit card accrues interest from the minute you buy it.
Big shocker was about the credit cards, where I always thought that if we made the minimum payment that we weren't being charged the interest rates, but until you bring it down to 0, I guess like Gail said, I didn't read the fine print.
Remind me again how long you thought it was going to take you to get out of this hole?
Probably 5 to 7 years.
Yeah? Are you ready for the reality?
I think so.
Okay.
If you follow my plan, your consumer debt will be gone in 1 year.
Okay.
Wow.
So the fact that it's only going to take us 1 year is exhilarating. So let's do this. Okay, let's get started.
I take that as your promise, right?
Absolutely.
Completely.
Over the next month, I'm going to give you a series of challenges. You do the challenges, I'll give you up to $5,000 to help you pay down this debt, which you will need to make the 1 year, okay?
Okay.
Don't do the challenges, you don't get the money.
Right.
We are going to get you on a spending plan that works and get you reconnected with your money, get your debt paid off, and get you working together to live cheap and happy so you're not fighting anymore. Sounds like a plan?
That'd be fantastic. Give it to us, yeah.
So the next thing you have to do is get me your credit cards and your debit cards, because
where are those?
they're gone. Go.
Okay.
This week's challenge has to do with the jars.
I was terrified of what the challenge was going to be.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Newlyweds Robyn and Paul have started their married life in a deep hole.
We feel like we don't own anything. Our tables, our furniture, all of it's on loan.
But it all takes money, and that's something that we don't have enough of, or if we do have enough of it, we're doing something wrong with it.
The first thing they're doing wrong, not knowing how much money they have. You're making $1,000 a month less than you think you are. Not exactly the happily ever after they dreamed of.
We are in it together, and who else do you blame except each other?
This is the honeymoon of your life, and you're buggering it up already. For the next month, this couple will learn to live on a strict cash budget. No more credit cards. They'll complete weekly challenges to tackle their money and relationship issues. And if they're willing to change, I'll reward them with thousands of dollars. No changes, no money. Give me those credit cards. Gone. So what do you have to live on this week then? Nothing! The jars are still here as a guide. So this week's challenge is a life lesson challenge, and it has to do with the jars. Now, usually I put the money in the jars. You're a teacher.
Yes.
You know the value of hands-on learning.
Yes.
You have to decide what money goes in the jars. So here's the money you have to spend in total for 1 week.
Thank you.
While you're busy getting in touch with the cash and managing the budget, you, Mr. I don't know why she buys so much food, Mr. We don't have a meal plan. You're going to be in charge of the food jar. Robyn's going to tell you how much you get a week, and you're going to meal plan for the week
Okay.
and grocery shop for the week.
I'm good with
So
that.
she puts the money in the jars, and I take care of the food jar.
You do.
It'll be interesting to see where he thinks he can get on a budget and where he'll actually get.
You know, I won't be able to go out and get the 2 lobsters and the 2 steaks like I did the other night.
You know what the big payoff is at the end? You're going to be dead.
We were disappointed when Gail told us to make our own budget. I mean, it requires more planning, but then you also pay more attention to what you're buying, which is really part of the whole process. So, babe, we have to commit.
Okay.
Before, anytime Paul and I would talk about money, you knew it would end in a fight. 110 is okay for food. There we go.
Yeah.
Balanced. The only problem with the jars is that you can't hoard the jars to the stores with you.
I'm sure Robyn could do this probably in half the time I could. You gotta look for the best deal now. Before I used to just grab whatever I wanted and just throw it in there without even looking at the price, right? But now I'm always trying to find whichever is cheapest and whichever looks the best for the least amount of money. Oh, here we go. I think she's a little nervous as well because, you know, of me buying the wrong thing, since it is really one of the first times that I've done it all by myself. I thought maybe I should bring a calculator with me just so I didn't want the embarrassment of going up there and then having to say, oh, I'm gonna put this back. In our food jar, we have about $50, maybe 51, around that. Can't take any chances of looking silly on in front of everybody.
39.82. Thank you.
My calculations were pretty much bang on, $39 and change.
So how much money did you give him for groceries?
$110 for food.
Ooh.
And we still have, I believe, about a little over $12 left.
Wow. So how did you find the whole budgeting thing? Was it hard?
It was tricky.
So why don't you show me what you got?
So
I'll compare it with the budget that I created for you and see how close you came. For food, I had $125.
$79 for transportation.
Okay.
$25 for entertainment.
I gave you $50 for entertainment.
Oh, for other we have $65.
Okay.
Chinook's food comes out of that.
Right.
So a lot.
You gave Chinook way more money than I did because I gave him $75 a month.
$38 for clothing and gifts.
I only gave you $75 a month or $18.75 a week.
The month we're in, we have a lot of birthdays in the family,
Right.
plus Christmas approaching.
Speaking of which, do you have a Christmas budget?
We're gonna be on a beach because of the honeymoon.
Glad you raised that. Because that brings me to your next week's challenge.
I'm nervous.
Yes.
This is your debt reduction challenge. How much are you planning to spend on this honeymoon?
$7,500.
It's too much. You can't afford it. And I'm not digging you out of this hole to watch you waltz away on a fabulous honeymoon and come back to be right back in the hole again. Either you change the honeymoon or you find a way to make the difference
Right.
so that you can pay for the honeymoon.
As Gail was telling us, the honeymoon, I could just feel my whole body tense up. And I was just thinking, she's not touching our honeymoon.
I don't want to change it, and I'm pretty sure Robyn's not going to want to change it either. We have our work cut out for us with making some more money somehow.
At this point, it seems insurmountable. We need to make $3,500 in a month and a half. I have a week to prove to Gail that we can do it.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Robyn and Paul are newlyweds feeling the pinch.
Every month the bank account goes down to zero.
Admire those who succeed and learn from their success.
Ask advice from everyone.
So we're asking for advice from Gail.
And I'll squeeze you till you squeak. For my first challenge, I made them figure out their own money jars and reconnect with their cash.
The fact that we have to come up with our budget amount was a bit of a monkey wrench into the plan.
And I didn't let them off the hook when it came to my second challenge. How much are you planning to spend on this honeymoon?
$7,500.
You can't afford it.
2 shockers in a row now. First with the budget, and now having to make all this money before we go away.
There's up to $5,000 waiting for them if they can succeed at all of my challenges. To make that honeymoon budget, Paul spends his spare time working for his brother.
Every once in a while, you know, when I'm a little strapped for cash, I give him a call and he can find some work for me. Right now I'll be working really hard, but Gail's pretty much told me that I have to do this in order to go on my honeymoon, and that's a sacrifice that I'm gonna make.
Good, Daisy.
Robyn has picked up a second job as a dog walker.
It's my first day walking the dogs, but definitely something that can continue on. And the sun in Mexico will definitely feel good after all these cold walks. Good boys and girls.
So did you find a way to make some money to pay for your honeymoon?
We think we have.
Tell me. Dog walking?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I have to walk Chinook anyway,
Right.
so I figure if I walk another dog or two at the same time,
Right.
over 6 weeks, I'll probably make about $900 doing that,
Excellent.
which I'm happy about.
My brother has a company and he has some time that I could work for him.
You came up with way more than I asked.
That we didn't have any spending money.
Right.
So now we're like, okay, we have to do something in order to get spending money, as opposed to just spending it on credit.
On the credit and then coming home to the bills.
And then saying, yeah, we'll pay it off whenever.
Because now you're absolutely committed to being out of debt.
We are.
So the only thing that's really missing in your lives is that you are not having any fun.
Right.
Which brings me to this week's challenge, which is your relationship rescue challenge. So you're probably wondering why we're standing in this beautiful theatre. You guys used to love to go to the theatre together. There are lots of opportunities for you to volunteer doing things where you can build a community around yourself of people with
Right.
like interests.
Right.
You don't spend a lot of money because this stuff's all about having fun on the cheap.
Right.
So you are going to volunteer
Okay.
in this theatre.
I've never acted before in my life.
Okay, well, pick up something heavy and carry it.
All right, perfect. that I can do.
So working together itself, even though we do get to spend time together, it'll be interesting to see if the relationship gets strained rather than rescued.
Next, Paul faces his biggest challenge yet.
The biggest bra I've ever seen.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
After only 3 weeks of marriage, Robyn and Paul felt their debt was out of control.
Money was just going out left, right, and center.
You have $32,000 worth of debt. Have you ever heard of a thing called a budget? I put them back in control by making them figure out their jar money. And I stopped them from going deeper in the red for the sake of their honeymoon.
We still owe almost $7,000 for the honeymoon.
If we can get through this month, then we can carry on for our whole lives.
If they complete all of my challenges, they'll get up to $5,000 to get back in the black in just 1 year. Volunteering at a local theatre is the first step to having fun on the cheap.
I'm good with the bras, so we'll make it even. It's been forever since I used bobby pins on my own hair.
Gives you
It's
more of
amazing.
appreciation when you go to see a show now. That's not just
Yeah.
what you see on stage, it's everything that's going on
Yeah.
behind as well, right?
Like the stage hands, the makeup.
You have 5 minutes now to get your costumes on.
Oh, you're a bunny. Welcome to the show.
There you go. A lot of chaos and people running around, putting on costumes, and guys running around without their shirts on, putting on dresses, and it's definitely not part of my usual day.
If they can do a production like this on a tight budget, I think we can make a living on a tight budget as well.
It's not bad being backstage, is it?
We really enjoyed it. It's not just the performance, it's everything.
And it doesn't cost a penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So what would be the biggest lesson you learned? That it's not hopeless.
I don't need my debit card, and I don't need my credit card anymore. When you first took them away from us, I was thinking, holy cow, how am I gonna not walk around town and not have my debit card? But if I don't have it in my wallet, then I don't spend it.
Because you know what? We didn't always have credit cards and debit cards,
That's
and we
true.
seemed to get on
Yeah.
just fine.
That's right.
So when I got here, you couldn't keep $100 in the bank.
Right.
And you thought you were going to end up sitting on the couch for the rest of your life, not having any fun. And that's changed.
It has.
It has.
We've actually put away $900 a month to repay your debt. And I promised you you would be consumer debt-free in 1 year, and you will be.
Excellent.
I can't wait
Fantastic.
for that.
I put $200 away in savings,
Yes.
$200 for your emergencies,
Yes.
Right.
and $200 in a category called planned spending,
Right.
which you can use for vacations.
Yes.
The whole idea being is if you're going to spend the money, you have to plan for it like you planned for the honeymoon.
Right.
Once a debt's repaid in a year, you can reincorporate that $900 and use it to enrich your cash flow and more planned spending.
I don't know what we do
Do
with
with all
that.
that. You are in the great position. You both have good pension plans. So you don't actually have to be saving any more than you are saving right now. This month, we got you reconnected with your money so you know how much you really make. We got you paying down your consumer debt in only 1 year. And we got you enjoying the honeymoon period of your marriage instead of arguing about money all the time. Okay? So I have for you a check for $5,000 to help you pay down your debt.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Take this.
It's a big check.
It's a lifestyle shift.
Yeah.
Is really what it was. And it took bringing Gail to us to get us to commit to a budget and to making it work.
But you know what? It gets better. You guys were such troopers this month that I also have for you tickets to a Broadway show.
Wow.
Along with dinner out, so you can celebrate guilt-free.
Oh, thank you.
you.
Have
so
a great
much.
life. Okay?
Thank you.
you.
Right.
I'm
There's
pretty
no
confident
need.
that if you were to call us a year from now, that we'll be able to tell you that we're out of debt, just like Gail said that we would be.
Money, 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 money.